In this comparative study, I will be examining The Truman Show, directed by Peter Weir in 1998, and Don't Look Up, directed by Adam McKay in 2021. I will be discussing the similarities and differences of comedy and political satire amongst these two films. In the heights of the 1990s, Peter Weir released a groundbreaking film. Poking fun at the media, he depicts a plot unlike any other of its time. Truman Burbank is the unsuspecting star of The Truman Show, a reality television program filmed 24/7 through thousands of hidden cameras and broadcast to a worldwide audience. Christof, the show's creator and executive producer, seeks to capture Truman's authentic emotions and give audiences a relatable everyman. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, Adam McKay uses an existential climate crisis to expose the shortcomings and ignorance of modern-day society, specifically through the lens of the American people. McKay uses modern techniques to depict Kate Dibiowski, an astronomy grad student at Michigan State University, who discovers the existence of an unidentified comet. Her professor, Dr. Randall Mindy, calculates that the trajectory of the comet crosses that of the Earth and will make an impact that will take place in about 6 months, killing all life in the process. There are many films that reflect the plots and cultural contexts amongst The Truman Show and Don't Look Up, one being Network by Sidney Lumet in 1976, which is a satire on media and the commodification of news, similar to The Truman Show. This film takes place in the 1970s, where terrorist violence was the stuff of Network's nightly news programming and the corporate structure of the UBS television network was changing. Meanwhile, Howard Beale, the aging UBS news anchor, has lost his once strong ratings share, and so the network had fired him. Beale reacts in an unexpected way. We see how this affects the fortunes of Beale, his co-workers, and the network throughout the film. Along with many other films, Network explains how the media and politics can have a heavy influence on people's actions. Both The Truman Show and Don't Look Up are satirical comedies that critique modern society, politics, and media. However, there are some key differences in the way that these two films approach their satire and comedy. The Truman Show is a satire on media manipulation and the nature of reality TV. It portrays a world where a person's entire life is a reality TV show and they are unaware that they are being watched. The film critiques the media for exploiting people's lives for entertainment and for blurring the line between reality and fiction. The Truman Show satirizes the media's role in shaping public perception by depicting the life of Truman Burbank, a man who unknowingly lives in a massive TV studio where his every move is broadcast to millions of viewers. The film exposes the dark side of reality TV and raises ethical questions about privacy and the exploitation of human lives for entertainment purposes. Don't Look Up is a satire on political apathy, scientific denialism, and the media's obsession with sensationalism. The film is about two astronomers who discover that a comet is heading towards Earth and will cause a catastrophic event. However, the government and the media refuse to take the threat seriously and instead focus on their own agendas and interests. The film critiques society for prioritizing short-term gains and ignoring long-term consequences. Don't Look Up uses a cosmic event as a metaphor for climate change and the failure of political leaders and the media to take it seriously. The film's satire is aimed at the apathy and denialism that have characterized the response to the looming environmental crisis, as well as the political polarization and divisiveness that hinder effective action. The Truman Show uses a mix of dark humor and existential themes to create a unique tone. The film's comedy comes from the absurdity of the concept, as well as the contrast between the utopian world that Truman inhabits and the reality of his situation. The film also uses irony to critique the media's obsession with voyeurism and entertainment. The Truman Show uses a mix of satire and dark humor to comment on the human condition and the commodification of emotions. The film's irony and absurdity evoke both laughter and discomfort as we witness Truman's growing disillusionment with his perfect world and his realization that he's nothing more than a product for mass consumption. Don't Look Up relies more heavily on slapstick humor and satire to create its comedic tone. The film's humor comes from the characters' reactions to the absurdity of the situation, as well as the satire of the media and political figures. The film also uses satire to highlight the absurdity of certain political beliefs and ideologies. Don't Look Up employs a more overtly comedic style with a cast of colorful characters who embody different types of ignorance and arrogance. The film uses slapstick, sarcasm, and caricature to lampoon the self serving behavior of politicians, scientists, and media personalities, and underscoring the urgency of the environmental crisis. The Truman Show and Don't Look Up share a common goal of using humor and satire to critique contemporary society, but they do so in different ways with different targets and tones. The Truman Show focuses on the media's manipulation of reality and the impact it has on individual autonomy and identity, while Don't Look Up addresses the global challenge of climate change and the need for collective action in face of denialism and complacency. Both films are thought-provoking and entertaining, offering a fresh perspective on some of the most pressing issues of the time. In Don't Look Up, this film satirizes the political climate and the media's obsession with ratings and sensationalism. The film portrays a world where people are more concerned with their own interests and popularity than with the survival of the planet. The government officials and the media are depicted as incompetent and self-serving, more concerned with maintaining their power and image than addressing the impending disaster. Similarly, in The Truman Show, the film critiques the culture of reality television and the media's obsession with sensationalism. The film portrays a world where the line between reality and entertainment is blurred, and people are willing to exploit others for the sake of ratings and profit. Both films use satire to criticize the superficiality of our society, including the media and the political elite. They both use humor to highlight the absurdity of our world and the flaws in our systems. Both films also question the authenticity of our reality and challenge us to think critically about the messages we receive from the media and the government.